Hi, it's Rich Shea here with another unboxing. This is Smartphone Inc. by Cosmodrome Games, and Arcane Wonders got in on it. This is the Kickstarter version. It's got the Dice Tower Essentials. I played a demo at Origins 2019, and I really liked it. Just a few rounds of the game, and when the Kickstarter came out, I ordered it because by the time I played the demo, the few copies they printed were gone. It's designed by Ivan Lashin and Victor Miller. I think that's Gosa. Well, let's open it up, get the shiny wrap off there. It's pretty hefty. It's a giant box. I almost hurt myself when I picked it up. So here's a note from Ivan thanking us for getting the second edition out. On the back, there's a list of the Kickstarter exclusive stuff that's included. Mostly just alternative things and extra stuff. Nothing you really need to play the game. And it comes with the expansion, Update 1.1. It's great because the rules book looks just like all the stuff you get when you buy a smartphone or any other modern high-tech device. So they've added directives, CEO figures, I guess we'll get to those, 2 and 3 player board module, and new technologies, world-changing technologies, special benefit technologies. They recommend some technology sets for when you play the game, the first game with the add-ons. Overproduction, I want some space. There's hardcore mode rules, and frankly, I think the game's hardcore enough as it is. It's I'm not sure. This is the artificial intelligence player. It's Steve. I don't know Steve who. You could take a guess, so that you can play with the AI. Oops, it's just a fold-out. It says Steve is an artificial intelligence to simulate an opponent, but you can include him when you're playing with up to 4 players. He follows the rules, except sometimes, and one of the things, where did I miss it? Steve has a pad, but Steve's pad is better than yours. Well, you know, I'm surprised they didn't put a turtleneck on the guy. But here we go. So how to play with the artificial intelligence. Here's the rules for the actual game, with this very intense-looking guy with the pad. Looks like an iPad to me, but so in a game there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 phases, and each of only 5 turns. And it's not super long, but it'll make your head spin because everything's related to everything else. And you have these pads. The goal of the game is to get points. They're based on money points. So each player has 2 pads, and they're slightly different, the white and the black one. Screens to hide your strategy, differentiating the companies at the beginning, the starting improvements, some organizers, markers to show your progress in different things, offices to show where you are working, and goods to show the phones you've made. There's game board, some phase markers, a victory point board where you keep track of that, patents and technologies. So the first person to create a technology gets a patent and bonuses at the end of the game. Everybody else can develop the technology slightly more easily after that, and everybody gets the same benefits from the technology. You can alter your strategy by picking up these improvement pieces as the game goes along, or you can sort of forego using them and increase your production capability. To handle less than 5 players on the board, there are these retailers. They mark off parts of the board as not having a market you can access in the usual way. And here's the rule book. And then it talks about what Steve's got, how to set up the game. There's a game board. One of the things about this game, and it's not my favorite art because it's just like the web. It's the least favorite version of the art for me. And when I make a website, I tend to go with like some yellows and browns and like color in the background. Not this pink and purpley stuff. Just not my fave. But it's very thematic. I gotta give him credit for that. All the symbols and everything's. Alright, so you set up, you get one of the companies, which starts at a place, different places across the board. You set your initial prices. Retailers go out. There's a way to configure them in 2 to 4 player games. 5-player game, you use the whole game board. And you do use the retailer boards, you just do it in a different way. So you go through the phases 1 through 8. Planning, that's when you organize your pad to see what your capabilities are going to be. You have to overlap them. So you have to hide at least part of your board with the other board pad. Okay, and then you set a price, and the lower the price, the earlier you move into markets, but victory points are how many things you sell times how much you sold them for. So, and the way you set your price is by arranging the symbols on your 2 pads with plus and minus dollar signs to move it from 5. And then production happens, which is a combination of how many spaces you covered up, how many production blocks you have showing. So there's a lot of thinking going on because all the phases are affected by your choices on the pad. Improvements lets you improve your productivity. You can use them or do something else. Research technologies, which once you have a technology, it gives you new markets you can sell into. It might also give you other benefits. And patents being the first with the technology is victory points at the end of the game. Logistics is basically how you move into new markets. Then you actually sell into the markets you're in based on price. That's the maximum price people will pay. And once the price things are done, people can sell in based on technologies they have available. First, you have to sell into the markets from left to right, prices no less than yours, than technologies you actually have. And as I said, the priority in selling into markets is the lowest price person in a market will get to sell into there first. Then, as people compete for regions, they become more valuable in terms of victory points for having a majority of sales into the region. Okay, and so you're getting more points, more things, and then you prepare for the next round. And they talk about the technologies that are available, what they do. I'm going to go into too much detail there. How the retailers work, and a couple of frequently asked questions, because the interactivity, the interaction of the rules makes the game both interesting and maybe a little tricky in some ways. Here's a Kickstarter thing, lifetime achievement list. I guess there's sort of like, the achievements when you play the digital version of a game. You put down winning the game for the first time, when you did that, when you started a list, earning points in a game. Okay, well, let's go through the components. This is, they're on fairly thick stock, nicely printed, not glossy, kind of flat. That's the victory point. You start with some victory points, and this is also turn in priority order in case of ties, okay, and each of the players are those colors. And then you can have markers for having more stuff. Here's Steve's pad, his production and what happens in each of the 5 turns that he does, okay. And you can see the pads have make stuff, adjust prices, work on technology, work on expanding markets. Okay, and then your actual production, you get cubes that go there. Okay, here's I think this might be one of the Kickstarter expansion things. Here is the hidden things. They have lovely artwork on the front showing your corporate building that you built with your profits. On the back is the name of your company, where it starts, the color and where it goes on the victory point marker. And I think that's beginning extra technologies. And you can see they're well, the artwork's different, but so Oasis starts in North Africa. It do some technology. So there's 5 different starting companies. Oh, and for those who have trouble multiplying, there are multiplication tables on here. You have computers to support you when you do these things. So here's the board. Let me get that out, right? Yeah. So one of the great things about the board, I don't know if you can see it, is it has cutouts to hold everything. So nothing's going to go flying around on the board. Okay. These are individual markets. Here's China. I'm not sure what CIS is, but the markets are connected to each other. That's how you spread out. You have to expand by following the tracks. Now, let me see if I can open the game board without harming it. And I can't even get it all on the screen at once, because it's pretty good sized. Wow. This is more deluxe than the original one. So here's the 6-panel fold out. It's quite, it's big. You can't see it all. It's thick. It's 2 wrapped layers of cardboard. That's how you can have the depth. The technology developments go along the track on the bottom here. The cardboard things go in here to be variable. I mean, in a standard game, these are the wireless keypads, battery power, notification 4G are the text, but there are other things that are available. Here's, I think, the 2 to 3 player version of the map. They just made it smaller by a little. Right. So that's just same technologies, but just North America, right? Cut into smaller sections. You know, the track to keep track of the phases. This is the turns. Some symbology to show you what happens when you do certain things. The improved technologies go out there that you can choose from. See if I can get this folded up without damaging anything. Good. Here's some single improvement things. Here's your CEOs. They're all gray. Does the technology markers, the victory points you get for doing it, how many steps it takes to develop the technology. I should do this closer. Victory points, steps, in 6 different technologies. Oh, these are color rings. I'm pretty sure they snap onto the CEO to show you who's who. Well, that's how they ended up making them. Here's all the technologies. Oh no, these are things you can do to get extra points. That's an addition to the game. Sell 10 things in 1 round, complete research in 2 technologies in the same round. Okay, and then probably some technologies. I think we're back in the standard game here. Here's a set of black pads, white pads. The pads themselves are identical for each player. Okay, and here's some more things that you can do, achievement things. So 2 pads, some achievements. The other 3 sets of player pads, they're on fairly thick cardboard. You don't want them too heavy. And you can see the pads have blank spaces, so when you're overlapping, you don't always have to give up stuff. A bunch of chits for other things. Frankly, I don't know what these chits do. I think they're for part of the expansion. These are improvements, so you select some of these to change your ability to strategize compared to the other players, aside from the choices that you make on your pad combination, and another set of them. And they cycle through. There's several available each turn. These are the retail markets where you have to you can't have duplicates, but you get points when you move into these markets, okay, and you get a benefit. When you move into the market, you'll also get a technology bump somewhere. This, when you move into a market here, you produce an extra good, move into a market here, and I don't know what happens, and that's the same there. So, but these are increased production that you can get if you don't use your extra strategy. And then here's more pads. Oh, I think these are
Regular.
pads. So you can make the game even tougher. There's a set of 5 white ones, a set of 5 black ones, and they fit into tabs on top of these. Oh, and then each player gets, let's see if I can get these out of here without causing too much disruption. Each player gets an organizer for their stuff. So your progress, offices, goods you make, extra markers, I guess, and the goods you actually produced, I think, go in here. So there's a bunch of those. There's 5 for the players, an extra sort of blank box for holding other stuff, and the plastic's not super heavyweight, but they're nice. And then I guess, well, red berry gets to be in the bottom of the box. Let's take the player pieces for yellow. That might be easiest to see. So just plain cubes for the goods you make. Those are offices, and there's the steps. And we'll get a little closer there, right? Offices, progress, containers full of phones floating across the ocean from where they're manufactured. That part's not really represented. So I'm happy I've got the game now. I just need to get it to the table. It's not super complex to understand because you can take the steps logically one at a time, but it's complicated to make strategies that make sense and score points. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to go down, a blind alley and get yourself into trouble. But next turn you can make it different because here we go. Here's like a lot of logistics, not much production. Get an improvement and make your phone more expensive. You can also flip them over to the other side. You can overlap like this. Now we're not wasting any space at all. Now we have a lot of production of cheap phones. We're doing some serious technology, but we're not expanding our markets very fast. You can do any kind of orthogonal compilation that you want. So super strategy, make some cheap phones, not expand your market, right? You can make some pretty extreme strategies in this game, and I don't know, maybe they work, but I'm really looking forward to trying it in whole games pretty soon. I like the production a lot, and it was fun to play. It was every turn was like a puzzle. So hope you all staying safe, having fun, not as much fun as when you can game with your friends. Hopefully that'll be soon. And remember, we're still have the MeepleLeague.com that we've been practicing. We've been trying to organize some live play tournaments where you log in, go to Discord, we ship the players off to a channel in Discord, and a room. They go to a room and they play together and they talk together, make fun of each other while they're playing, just like in real life, or as close to that as you can get for now. Well, thanks for watching, and see you again soon.